all series long, Ken, there's been great praise for the cars being evenly matched, and they have been evenly matched. And I think what we're seeing here today is the drivers making the difference.
Well, I wonder about that in the Yarborough instance because, you know, of those 5 races, 3 of them he won on road courses, and he's a good road racer. He got a lot of experience, and that just didn't look like Cale to me. Now look at Unser beginning to draw away. Meanwhile, here's Hurley Haywood attacking on Cale Yarborough. Now, this is one corner that Haywood probably knows as well or better than anyone else in the race. We should mention, too, the Indianapolis car people, of course, were here in 79, 80, and 81. Mears did very well, and Unser Sr. set on the pole a couple of times, 79 and 80.
Speaking of Mears, Ken, in qualifying for the Michigan 500 a week ago, he set a new American Speedway qualifying record of over 220 miles an hour at Michigan International Speedway, which is really sizzling.
Working the 9th lap, you're watching Unser trying to draw away and doing so. Downhill, wide open, 3rd gear, in 2nd place, the white car. It's Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia, the stock car champion. And right behind those two, in the yellow car, Al Unser Jr., just 24 years old, youngest winner in IROC history. Waltrip is back there in the 5th position and running 6th. Mr. Hans Stuck, 7th Yarborough, 8th the Hurley Haywood car, and 9th Jochen.
The average now is over 110 miles an hour, the last lap being turned at 110.45. And I wonder, Ken, if Elliott hadn't had that skirmish with the guardrail yesterday, would he be further ahead?
They come down by the pit area, cross the start-finish line. Bobby Rahal at the present time in this race, having his troubles. He's holding on to 5th. He thought he was going to get a good grip and come out charging here. We asked him earlier if you could drive defensively on this track. Here's what Rahal said.
It's going to be tough because the straightaway is fairly long. If someone's got a little better motor than you do, they should be able to get by you there. Certainly in the corners, there's really only one lane, like any road race track, I suppose. But and, you know, again, you know, in a race, you find there are more places to pass than you thought of prior to the race, and this same goes for blocking. Sometimes a little Camaro that's only about 8 feet wide can be 30 feet wide with the right guy driving it.
Bobby Rahal, we can get it done. 1986, Indianapolis 500-mile winner, the dark blue car running in 5th. Al Unser just as smooth and graceful. You know, you wonder how it can keep happening in one family. Bobby Unser, the great champion, and then Al Unser Jr., Louis Unser years ago. To me, the whole key on those Unsers is incredible discipline. They always seem so relaxed and so easygoing. And when it comes to motor racing, the thing they do so well, they have incredible mental discipline. Look at Unser draw away here on Elliott, running in 2nd spot, the white car. Al Unser Jr. still 3rd, looking back, and the range continues to get wider between Al Unser of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott, as a record crowd at Watkins Glen watches the action this Saturday afternoon. More in a moment. 11 laps are now complete here in the 4th and final round of IROC 10, 1986. Unser in front, but Chris, what a battle for 2nd place. The yellow car, Al Unser Jr. closing up on Elliott. He's put on a couple of counter strokes to try to move by. He's had to settle back into 3rd position. He looks like he wants it.
Well, young Al is a very aggressive driver, and he's putting the heat on Bill Elliott there in 2nd place. That's where all the eyes are on. Right now, the leader, Al Unser, has slowed just a little bit. His last lap speed is 109.9. That's down exactly a half a mile an hour. The interesting thing is that car, Ken, does not have a good track record this year in IROC. It was 10th in Mid-Ohio with Yarborough driving, and 11th at Talladega with Haywood driving, and here it is running away at Watkins Glen.
There's that 2nd place battle. Those tires are the key issue. The whole field has come back, not just the leader, but all of them have retarded the spark a little at this point in the race. Not willing to gamble on having those tires get too far off when they get to those final 10 laps. I think they're all willing to settle back for the moment, save the rubber, and be ready for the charge at the end.
Well, there's Al Unser dirt tracking it a little bit. Well, the drivers are very concerned at all the turns here but one, because here's an Al looking out the back of his car. Every corner has guardrails outside and inside, except turn 1, which has no outside guardrail. So if you lose it there, you go out in the grass, gather it up, and keep going. And that's where Al Unser Jr. has been putting the pressure on Bill Elliott.
Now notice in the straightaway shot, as it began, you saw that Unser had a big advantage. It was closed up a little. That 2-car draft at the fastest part of the track is on again. And notice how Unser is shuffling a lot here. That car is wearing its rubber down, and I would say at a pretty good rate.
Well, it also could be the brakes are not as effective now as they were at the beginning of the race. Tremendously fierce brake applications required to get slowed down for these sharp turns.
Now, right here on this corner, earlier was where the yellow car of Al Unser Jr. tried to make a move under Bill Elliott. Elliott was able to recoup and stay in second position. Unser Sr. stays in that front running spot. Down across the start-finish line, another lap complete. And that corner there, in my estimation, is the most critical turn here. If you come out of it right, now look at the yellow car of Unser Jr. coming to the inside on Elliott. You hit this turn 1, and you can have as much as 200 RPM additional. That'll really help you on one of the major passing areas of this track.
You know, a calculated nudge by Al Unser Jr. Bill Elliott's right rear fender could send him spinning off in the grass and put him off in second place. And it just may well happen before this day is out.
Here's Hurley Haywood challenging Cale Yarborough another time. Haywood up on Yarborough. As you watch the battle, that is now for 9th position as Ludwig and Stuck have both moved by Yarborough and Haywood. Yarborough 9th, Haywood 10th. And that battle continuing through turn 2, up the hill, through the S's.
You know, it's interesting, we talk about the identically prepared cars. That same move by Haywood on Yarborough has been tried several times before in the same play. Al Unser's lead now 2 2/10 seconds over Bill Elliott.
And that leader looks like that car is doing a little slipping, a little sliding, and it may be slip sliding away this afternoon from Unser. Unser running in the 1st and in the 3rd position. The Unsers running incredibly here in this race, in the entire series, and in the entire year. Why do the Unsers run so well?
We love racing. Racing's been good to us. We all work at it very hardly, and well, you know, I think a guy trains himself, and I wished I could say what the reason for the Unsers doing so well in racing, because then I could maybe sell it, and I wouldn't have to race.
I don't think there'd ever be a day when Al Unser didn't want to race. Here he is out in front and continuing to blaze away from the field, using up some rubber on that car, but taking that gamble as he stays out in front of Bill Elliott in the 2nd spot and Al Unser Jr. in 3rd. We'll return with more of the International Race of Champions after this message and a word from your local station.
Car 2.
Here the yellow car is now in front. Elliott has come back to 2nd. What happened to Unser Sr.? Major incident on the final turn. Here's the story from Ned Jarrett.
Ken, he said he just simply got a little too wide and lost the car. Slammed into the guardrail, did a lot of damage to the rear end of the car. That could be a major portion of $150,000 gone down the drain for Al Unser Sr. He lost at least 1 lap while they made repairs to his Camaro.
Ned, I think he's lost 2. How severe was the damage? I saw them working on the bottom end of the car, back end.
It was primarily cosmetic damage. We didn't see any damage to the frame or any of the running parts of the car. But they had to tape up the rear window. It was bursted apart, and most of the sheet metal was gone from the right rear quarter panel.
Thank you, Ned. Let's take a look from the in-car camera, Chris, at exactly what happened here at this very critical turn. You're with Al Unser Sr. He was leading. That's the amount of advantage he had over the 2nd place man, Elliott, at the time.
But he had lost a half a second to his pursuers in the last 2 laps. Now he's going through the corner, and you can see the scenario. The car is turning around, then hits the guardrail. The rear spoiler comes off. He jams it. The first thing Al Unser did was put it in gear to get it away from the other cars, get it off the track. Now here comes the Sun pass for the lead.
You see the number 1, Elliott, for a moment had the lead. Then down to the inside comes car number 6 in this tremendous battle taking place at turn 4. And it's Unser on the inside, Elliott on the outside. And Unser has just broken down on the course. Unser has just broken down at the top of the hill as he went into that long straightaway, and he has spun around, I think. Which way? Yeah, we're looking back down the track. Yep. He's trying to get it off the track here. So something is truly amiss on that car, and there's no hope for Unser to come out here and win his 2nd IROC title, trying to get the car righted. Meanwhile, the story's up in front as 4 cars come into contention, completing another lap. The yellow car, Al Unser Jr., stays front. The white car in 2nd place is the Elliott machine at turn number 1. Here you see them headed for turn 2. And there's Unser dragging the remains home.
That ever the walking wounded. He'll be headed for the pits again if some of that stuff could fall off. And the leader's speed has fallen off more than a full mile an hour.
Dragging himself down that long straightaway. Al Unser, who looked like he was on his way to a top position finish. That is not to be for Unser. Apparently he'll try to bring it in this time, and there's still more damage and more pieces dragging off the back of this car.
Well, you know, there's Al Unser, that Camaro.
Watch right here. Watch right here, Chris. We may see him have trouble again as he comes up through here. He's whacked that machine again. It just gets out, and now he takes the other side up apart. All in all, not a good day for the Unser Senior contingent. But Al Jr. stays right here, battling at this time with car number 1 Elliott and leading by 5 or 6 car lengths.